And we are live,
Good.
live and direct. Yes, yes. So, just want to go. Yep. Okay, good. So, good night, everyone. I just want to thank you for joining and welcome you to another episode of the District 81 podcast. Like I said before, this podcast is to engage members, highlight achievements, and promote Toastmasters Month. This month, October. It will be every Wednesday for the month of October. If you haven't yet, go and check out the previous episodes. Great content, great information, gems and diamonds shared alone. However, today's episode is no different. Today's episode, the topic is Toastmasters Beyond the Club. And
Yes.
I have the honor of interviewing DTM Delon Fraser, straight from Guyana. So help me welcome DTM Delon on the podcast. And thank
Good.
you
Good
for
evening,
joining us.
everyone. Good evening.
So
Thank you
DTM
for joining
Delon,
us.
let's get right into a short intro. If you could give us a short intro of yourself.
Fantastic. So, good night, everyone, once again. And thank you, Oliver, for actually inviting me to this podcast. I am Delon Fraser, and I am a Toastmaster all the way in a wonderful place called Guyana, land of many waters and giants and oil. I am the second of five children, and somehow I'm just lucky to be having two careers, one as a police officer and the other as a state council prosecutor. I am happy that I'm able to be part of this program, and I look forward to the remaining of the evening, God's willing.
Great, great leadership roles. And we already have interaction. Look, we have Melushka in the chat saying, hi,
Hi,
DTM
hi.
Melushka. And we have DTM Tashi saying, good evening, leaders. Good
Good evening,
evening to
Madam
you as
Didi.
well. Good evening. So I want to dive straight into it. Can you share a bit about your Toastmasters journey and what first motivated you to join? I remember you was sharing a great story with me. I think that'll be a good fit here. Yeah.
A good place to start.
Yeah, I
Very
think so.
well.
I
Well,
think
I'll
so.
start there. So I joined Toastmasters over 10 years, that long. And at the time when I joined Toastmasters, I had a passion for debating. And my club, Kasik Toastmasters Club, they were meeting for I think at one of our Toastmasters location. And my cousin Jennifer Fowler Bruce invited me to Toastmasters. And I'm saying to myself, Toastmasters? I thought that Toastmasters, from the mere onset of the word toast, was about wine and cheese. So in my mind, it was okay. I'm going to probably a bourgeois event where I'll be having to have my little fingers stick out and holding on to the stem of the glass. And, a lot of toasting
Fancy.
and drinking of wine. Boy, was I mistaken. When I got there, it was well organized. We had the meeting banner, and those functionaries were already in place. And I was sitting there and I'm wondering, this seemed to be a good place to start because I love debating. And so I thought to myself that this would have been the best place for me to hone my debating skills. So I was invited, of course, as the only guest there at the time to partake in the table topic session. Now, Oliver, I cannot remember what was the topic, but I went up there with my squared shoulder and my confidence as high as a kite because
Hmm.
I know debating and I got this thing locked. When I got up there, I did the speech and I went back to my seat. Of course, I got a rousing applause. And when I got back there, it was time for evaluations. And the table topic evaluator evaluated me. And while I was waiting there in anticipation to hear how vocal I was and body language, I was taken aback by his evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
He said to our guest, Delon, I could not have heard you. Could not hear me? I don't understand. You hearing me? No. My voice alone was echoing in that place. And you're
Yeah.
telling me you did not hear me. So he went on to say that the only thing he could have focused on was not my voice, but my Converse sneakers. I said, I spoke for 2 whole minutes. And the only thing that this man could be telling me is that he only focused on my sneakers. Where's he going with this? So
Mm-hmm.
Oliver, when he finished the evaluation, he was like, Toastmasters it's not just about your spoken words, but it's also about your bodily gestures, your appearances. So the way and how you dress tells a lot about you as a speaker and as a leader. So even though I stayed away from Toastmasters for 2 weeks, 2 weeks after that evaluation, I still I up to this day, it still resonates with me that yes, the way and how we speak, the way and how we prepare ourselves in the speaking area, it says a lot about communication. So when I joined, it was just to hone my Toastmaster skills. But now, reflecting since over 10 years ago, now that I'm both a police and a lawyer, communication is quite central to everything I do, every single thing, whether it be interaction with the members of the public while I'm serving as a police, or even in the court in my advocacy skills. I wanted to really and truly refine those skills and how to express myself clearly, calmly, and even confidently. So, whether in the courtroom or in the community, or even before this noble audience now, I am
Mm-hmm.
able to do that. And what started as a quest to better my debating skills became a journey of leadership. It became a journey of mentorship because I have so many proteges, and it's a continuous self development for me.
Great, great, great. And yeah, like you said, polish. Just
Yeah.
polish and hone that skill. But I want to say, you had mentioned too prior that they also mentioned to you that, like you said, it's not just about your verbal communication, but also your body language, your
Yeah.
gestures, and all of these things. So, like you said, like I say, Toastmasters is a lot more than just public speaking and speaking in front of people. But I
That's
really
right.
appreciate you for sharing that. And I would like to know, before I move forward to the next question, I just want
Yes.
to share we have some people saying hello. So
Hello.
we have a few. We have a few.
Toastmaster Liz, I'm seeing you.
We have a few. We have a few. Okay, DTM Christina said, DTM Delon, this is great information and thank you for sharing. It's the
Yes.
information I will put into practice. That was a great one. Great one, great one. So yeah, to move forward, when did you first realize that the skills you were developing in Toastmasters could be applied beyond club meetings?
Great. So even as a police and even as a lawyer, majority of my work used to happen in the community. A lot of community engagement, public symposiums. I love attending those. And a lot of persons would, walk up to you and form conversation, and you would want to engage them even more. But because you're so limited, you stuck with the conversation. Oh, yes, I think that's a great idea. How did you do it? Just a short, blunt conversations. So I realized that during this community engagement, I found myself now speaking naturally connecting with people instead of lecturing to them, instead of giving them those short and brief answers. The same structures, like storytelling that Toastmaster teaches us, storytelling, influencing, and even inspiring, that we practice all of this in the laboratory. The very Toastmasters meetings that we attend every single week. And by doing this, it allowed my message to be more relatable. So you can literally just flow smoothly, naturally as persons come. Because as part of Toastmasters, don't forget, every single presentation and every single speech that we do, we have to do some level of research. So there
Yeah.
isn't a topic that you could not come across that is not topical, so to speak, that you can't speak on because you're speaking off the cuff in the table topics. And even if the topic don't come up when you're doing the table topics, at least they will come out as a prepared speech, whether by you or by somebody in the club. And from that experience and that exposure, you are now able to have smooth and seamless conversations in any sphere, any single sphere. I can teach, I can now form part of government, relating to members of government, relating to members of the public, relating to persons who have not finished high school. All of these things allowed me to be the individual that I am, and it's all because of Toastmasters. So that day, I understood that these skills weren't just for speeches, they were for service. And until we realize how the acquisition of these skills is not for self gratification, but to better mankind, we'll be doing ourselves a great service as Toastmasters. So that is when I realized it, Toastmaster Williams.
I like that.
Yeah,
Respect, integrity, service, and excellence. I love it.
yeah,
And you know, that story you shared was so powerful because I feel like what you just say embodies Toastmasters beyond your club very well,
yep,
truthfully. Because basically you say how you see the benefits in your professional and in your personal life. And you mentioned about how the table topics, because it's impromptu and
yep,
unprepared, in the moment speeches,
absolutely.
you are able to now communicate and off the cuff in
Yep.
your personal life outside the club as well. That's a great one. I
Yeah.
love that one. You see, look, as Didi Tashi said, not just
Yeah,
for
not just for
speeches, but for
speeches, but for service.
service. And then DTM Milushka said, I love that these skills were not only for speeches, but for service. Agreed. Totally agree. I totally agree. I feel like you hit a good nail there just now.
Yes.
So, being as you talk about real world applications, let me ask you, what
Mhm.
specific Toastmaster skill have had the biggest impact on your personal and professional life?
Excellent question. And I'll say immediately the ability to allow us to organize, especially my thoughts under pressure. Because it's not every single time, even though Toastmasters motto is be prepared, you are actually prepared. So
True.
don't let us kid ourselves with that. But with the skills that we get from Toastmasters, we are able to be prepared even when we're not prepared. And I'm saying this because sometimes when you have a really good presentation for the court, especially when you're standing before a judge, and the judge might ask a question that you would not have fathomed, he would have asked anyway. So immediately, Toastmaster kicking, speaking off the cuff, you have to conjure your thoughts as quickly as possible to respond to the question. And this is the type of skills that I would appreciate that had the biggest impact in my life. My ability to organize my thoughts under pressure. And then, even after you finish doing so, you're able to deliver with poise and give and receive feedback constructively. And it has the greatest impact on me. Whether I'm addressing a jury, because those are the 12 angry people you really need to address. But when you have to address them to de escalate a tense situation, and trust me, Toastmaster Williams, you don't want to be in a courtroom with me. It is always tense. So you have to make sure that you're well prepared and ready to deliver. But like I've mentioned to you earlier, Justice Chancellor told me that communication is a vehicle of your thoughts. So our ability to quickly conjure and organize our thoughts to present and communicate that idea has been one of the greatest impact on my life using the Toastmasters program.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
And you I'll make a note to always stay on your good side. But I have to say, just like how you got that feedback, and I love it. I love that. I gotta make a note of that for sure. It reminds me of one of my college professors said a statement. My English college professor said,
Mm-hmm.
in life with communication, let's say, all you have to remember is purpose and audience. What's
Mm-hmm.
the purpose of the message you're trying to bring across? What's the aim? What you're
Yeah.
trying to deliver? And who's the person you're speaking to, so that now you could maybe better relate it to that person. Try to
Absolutely.
bring it across in a way that they would receive it and understand it and digest it, so that everything could move forward. And
Absolutely.
on that same note, I want to share, because I agree with what you said about helping with organizing thoughts,
Yes.
but I want to say too a little deeper on that, helping with timing of delivery.
Mm.
Because I want to share a simple story in my life where recently in May, I went to a conference, and in the conference, I was requested to deliver a short 3 to 5 minute pitch off the
Mm-hmm.
cuff. It was impromptu. Within the day, they decided part of the workshop was okay, we'll come together as a group, decide on a pitch,
Yeah.
and deliver the pitch. And I was the designated person to deliver. Now, when I went up and I delivered it, after I delivered it exactly, like right as soon as I finished, the alarm went off for the 5 minute mark. And I was like, yeah, just right on time, class
Timing.
Toastmaster.
Impeccable.
And I'm telling you, time management at its best.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I totally
Absolutely.
agree. It really helps you with organizing your thoughts, figuring out how you're gonna deliver, and then
Yep.
delivering with excellence. And yeah, like I said, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's a
Yes. Yes.
great, great, great skill that you share. So let me ask you this:
Yes.
how have communication and leadership skills from Toastmasters help you in your career, business, or community work? You mentioned a
Mm.
little bit, but could you elaborate a little more?
Oh, this is an excellent question. Thank you, Toastmaster Williams. I've always said from time and time again that there is a marriage between communication and leadership, and that there must never be a divorce between the two. So, Toastmasters have taught me that leadership is influence. It's not about a position, it's about influence. And even as an officer of the court and a professional police officer, I've learned to lead by example, because that's what persons expect from us who has all this wide ranging powers at our hand. So I've learned to listen first, a skill that we learn in Toastmasters, because we need to listen to evaluate, listen to appreciate, and listen to give constructive feedback.
Great.
Then it also allowed me to have a guide with respecting other person's opinion. Because even within the Toastmasters principles and rules, we say the Toastmasters is respect, service, integrity. So these are things that are premised when you're looking at yourself and you want to be a leader in society. So it helps me with good listening skills, guiding with respect, and most important, Toastmaster Williams, communicating with empathy. Communicating with empathy. My engagement with a lot of people would respect or require me to come on a level, not my profession as the guard, but as someone who understands the plight of this individual, and to also being able to listen to them keenly so that I can guide them to where or what they want to achieve. So those principles have improved how I manage teams, engage in public events, and uphold justice by simply marrying these two great techniques: leadership and communication. Nothing more, nothing less.
I love that. And I love
Yeah.
how you say you honestly share a lot of gems there. I hope people taking notes. That's all I
Yeah.
can say. But
Mm.
one thing I want to point out in what you said is about the empathy. And
Yeah.
it is something that is crucial, especially like you say in your line of work. You need to know how to be empathetic, but as
Yep.
a leader, empathy is a necessary trait
Yeah.
because sometimes, like they say, you have to put yourself in other people's shoes.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
have to try to understand people's point of view in order to come to a solution.
Yeah.
No? So I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And I could see we have persons in the chat that love it as well. Yes, 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 yes. Leadership and growth do go hand
That's
in
right.
hand.
Have that
Totally agree.
marriage.
Totally agree.
Don't have a divorce. It's a marriage between the two. No divorce.
Key takeaway. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah.
So to move forward, let me ask you, can you share an example of a situation outside of Toastmasters where
Mhm.
your training really came into play? Let's say.
Oh, there's so many. There are so many. But one that came that the one that comes to mind is that once during a community outreach program with a lot of young people, emotions ran high because of course it's young people we're talking about, and I cannot remember the topic that they had to deal with or the concern that they had to deal with within their own community. But you could imagine the adrenaline, young people, cross table, all of it. So we had a community outreach, and a bunch of young people, emotions ran high. And so instead of reaching or reacting to what the emotions was like across both sides, I drew on the table topic experiences. Topic experiences. So for
Ta-
instance, literally topic experiences, right? So I said, okay, so Kevin, if Delon told you this, what would be a perfect solution to this? Literally, your topic. How would you deal with it? Mind you, Toastmaster Williams, it is the same thing that they're arguing about all the time, you know. Big bacchanal back and forth, with voices raised. All it took was for me to draw a simple topic on the table and just ask one person to say, speak on this experience. Just speak on it. Table topics, off the cuff, table
Yep.
topics. So
Yep.
listening carefully, responding with the structure, because that's exactly what they did. Because after I drew the topic experience to him, I drew it for the other person. And then eventually it is the same issue they're arguing about, but by placing the topic before them now, you're able to command the other's attention. So instead of the emotions being aroused and they're speaking over each other, you have that speaking area now. You speak to this particular topic and you speak to this one. And at the end of it, I said, but wasn't this the same thing y'all were arguing about just now? that none of you took the time to listen. So you see, with Toastmasters, there must be a science to this whole madness of table topics. There must be, right? There must be. And that has proven it right there and then. Simple, write the topic down with the experience, and I hand it to this particular speaker. The other speaker remain silent, listen to the point of view, and then I wrote the other topic. Give it to the other one because it's the same thing they're arguing about. And the problem was solved. The meeting ended in mutual understanding, not even a conflict. They could not imagine that they were arguing for over 50 minutes, two table topics about their topic experience that they just spoke on. I kid you not. And that was Toastmasters in action. You being able to stay calm, listen to what was the issue, and then come up with a simple solution by writing down two topics and having them organize themselves so that they can speak. So Toastmasters in action, Toastmaster Williams, right there and then. We know how to handle a difficult situation. And why? Because that is one of the topics that we covered in the pathways. And it's one of the topics in the legacy program. So there is no difficult situation that a Toastmaster can handle if they utilize those very speaking techniques that they've been honing in the laboratory that we call a Toastmasters meeting.
Great. Look, that was a great one. That was a great. Look, you got me. You got me a little speechless. Honestly, you got me thinking like we need to make like a training program out of that because what we gonna call it? Table topics, conflict resolution. Because whoa,
exactly.
whoa,
It has a good ring. It has a good ring to it, Madam Didi.
That's
Don't
a hot
don't
one.
talk too
That
fast,
hot
right?
off the
Don't
press.
talk too fast.
Hot off the press. Okay, good.
Yes.
No, but that's a great one. That's a great one.
Yeah.
And I like that approach because
Yeah.
some people might not make that connection or see that approach being, the best option or situation or solution. But I understand and I agree and I like that approach because you centralize things, you center people, and you get them to see things from a more organized but more clear lens. Because as we know it, as usual, when you're angry or upset about a situation, usually you're not thinking clearly.
Right.
So doing that would kind of, like I say, centralize everything and bring people back to like a clear, concise understanding of how to move forward.
And I'll tell you, Toastmaster Williams, there is nothing you cannot associate Toastmasters with. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Every single aspect of your life, you can find something to speak on about Toastmasters. There is something there. Something.
I agree. Yeah. And the Tashi say the science of
the science of table topics. Yes, Madam Didi.
And leading by example.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like you give us some great info already, but I have some more questions. let me ask you this next one. So my next question is, how has Toastmasters influenced your confidence, mindset, or approach to challenges? I feel like that example you just shared there was a great example of that, but would you like to share anything else on that point?
Of course, why not? And again, I did mention that there's nothing we can take away from Toastmasters that we can use in our daily lives. And using the word of the evening from my club last evening, which was in it, Toastmasters has strengthened my innate confidence. Like I told you, while I had the attitude of a great and skillful debater, remember sometimes debating is just about trying to convince persons. So I would normally just see persons like my royal subjects. I am king when I'm at the lectern. And they have my people are the members of the audience. They're my audience. They're my royal subjects. And they have nothing better to do than to come and
Well,
listen to
listen,
me. That is how I see myself when I have now started Toastmasters. But now my confidence has been strengthened tremendously. I've learned to see challenges, not obstacles. I can tell you that honestly, but as opportunities to grow because in every single circumstances, there is something to be gained. Each speech, each evaluation reminds me that progress comes through persistence and practice. So when you talk about influence and my confidence, I talk about how well you were able to use these skills to persist and to continue to hone and practice these skills. And that mindset has carried me into every single professional challenge I face, every single one of them. I know what I have to do. I see the challenge, and I know that at the end of it, there is something greater to be achieved. That is how I look at it.
yep. Cup half
Yeah.
full instead of cup half empty. I agree.
Yes. Go
And
with
like
it.
so, like how some people will say practice makes perfect. I just
Yep.
say practice makes progress because
Ah. Oh,
I
I'm gonna take
I'm a
that one from you.
perfectionist because I always am, like I said even last week, I am my biggest critic. I
Yeah.
even when I deliver well, I
Yep.
start thinking, okay, what can I do or how can I better what I did before?
Yep.
And that's lifelong learning, that's
Yeah.
Toastmasters, that's leadership, that's growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I totally agree, and I like
Practice
that
makes
response.
progress. I'm gonna take that one from you.
Well, I glad you could
Thank you
I
for the
could give
right.
you
Thank
some
you for the
because
reciprocity. Hi,
I was just
Toastmaster
going to say,
Bernicia. Good to see you.
yeah. So we have DTM Vernicia in the chat
Yes,
giving you a
yes,
hi.
yes.
We have TM Rod saying I always shake during table topics, but I always push myself. And
Excellent.
on that note, I have to say, I'll share a secret.
Yeah.
Some people might see me in my Toastmasters meeting, going up, doing speeches, feel like, man, Oliver got it all figured out. He's so
Yep.
confident. And you know, I just look confident, but trust and believe, especially before I go up there, you're shaking, you're wondering why, nervous. But it's like, once you practice, once you know of your skill and you know you could deliver, you got that confidence within yourself. You go up
Yeah.
and you do what you gotta do. So
Exactly.
TM
Exactly.
Rad,
But
I just say that to say you're not the only one, but it's good that you push yourself out of it and push past that. Oh,
yeah.
push yourself past your comfort zone. Let me say.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
DTM Bernice said, happy to see you. Enjoying the conversation. And then we have DTM Christina who said, there is enough room for growth in Toastmasters. This is why I challenge myself to keep pushing even when I don't know it all.
Oh,
Totally
oh
agree.
yeah.
Not
Powerful.
everyone has it figured out. Some
Yeah.
people feel like people do, but we all are work in progress.
Yeah. And another
Even
thing
the
too.
leaders that you look up to have
Yeah.
people they look up to as well, or they're probably working on
Absolutely.
themselves as well. So we're all
Absolutely. The thing is, every single time that we take up the challenge of a new path, it gives us that level of confidence to take on any new challenge, any new challenge. And I keep saying that even with the Toastmasters pathways and the education program, it is so unique that almost every single project that you do, it challenges you somewhat, no matter how many times you have done it. Just imagine every single part you got to be doing table breaking the icebreaker speech.
icebreaker. Yep.
But there's so many things you want to say and still got to say within, and you still every
four
single
to
time
six minutes.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
How
There
can
is
you talk
not
about your whole
enough.
life in 4 to 6 minutes?
You can't. You absolutely can't. Right? So you just continue challenging yourself. Storytelling was one of my greatest challenge at one point in time. Now, listen, you know the techniques. You know how to flow nicely, chronologically, and giving them exactly what they want. Keep them high, then keep them in the middle, and then bring them down. These are little tips that you use for your storytelling. And then you said something to Toastmaster Williams that struck me just now. You spoke about your challenges a few minutes ago in respect to oh, it just
Delivering
left. Sorry,
speeches.
it's gonna come back to me. Go again.
In delivering speeches.
In delivering speeches, right? And for a moment there, I thought that listen, if we as Toastmasters, oh, I now remember what it was. You were the Toastmaster Rod was talking about how shaky he was in
Mm-hmm.
presenting those table topics. But
Correct.
to deny this very essence of a human being, nervousness, is to deny that you're even a human being at all. There's never a speech that I would get up to speak about that I'm not nervous about. But that's why we talk about Toastmasters, and that's why we keep coming. Because in an instant, after 2 or 3 seconds at that lectern, listen, your negative energy, that nervousness, just starts
Gone.
to evaporate like
Mm-hmm.
mentholated touching air. Just like
Mm-hmm.
that. Swoof.
Especially when you see the audience engage, or let's say if you do
Yes,
like a maybe like a icebreaker joke or something like that, and like you see like they
absolutely.
laugh or something, that then that
Yeah,
breaks down that ice from yourself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree.
yes. It's a
I
very good
agree.
way, very good way. So don't deny it, embrace it, and manage it using the Toastmaster skills and techniques. You will be an
Yeah.
excellent communicator and leader.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Well said. And I just want to pull back up this small comment. Small opportunities
Yeah,
are often the beginning of great achievements. Totally
absolutely.
agree. Totally
Yes, I
agree.
agree with it.
And then we have TM Lisa May, who said, indeed, great conversation through an
DTM
authentic
Lisa, good
Toastmasters
evening.
allows us to be better versions of
Of
ourselves.
ourselves. Absolutely.
One of the most important skill I learned is flexing my leadership
Oh,
style. There
mm,
are so many challenges a leader face when dealing with people that it can feel like an uphill battle. Totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
As a person managing managerial roles, that's usually why they are more higher paid, because managing different persons is more of a task.
yeah.
So I agree with this statement by TM or DTM Michelle. And we actually have
Absolutely.
a question in the chat.
Mm.
I don't know if you was gonna elaborate on DTM
Yeah, I was going to speak
Michelle's
about
question.
the different leadership challenges indeed, because just as Shakespeare said, men and women are social actors. The world is our stage. Every environment produces a different actor. It's the same thing like us as leaders. Every situation, every environment would require us to utilize a different leadership style. So always be cognizant of the environment and the audience to which you're addressing. It helps with that.
Purpose and audience.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Agreed. Agreed. So actually now we have two questions, but I'm gonna get to the first one. So from DTM Regis, hi
Yeah.
DTM Regis. DTM Delon, was there a time you were driven in a corner?
Mm-hmm.
You had to buy time to come with a thought to get back on track. I guess
Absolutely.
in mhm. You continue.
Absolutely. There always the opportunity or that challenge that you may have, that you may not have the idea or you might not have the answer to it like right there and then, right? There will always have opportunities like those. But nothing is stopping you. Nothing, absolutely nothing is stopping you from understanding what is being asked, to be confident and comfortable in saying that you don't know and go and research and come back. That is often a mistake leaders normally make, to think that they ought to know everything. No, you don't need to know everything. Even as a Toastmaster, you don't need to learn everything or know everything. What gives us or makes us a Toastmaster is how well we're able to go research and come back with the answer. At least now you'll be able to know. So there were many times when I've been cornered. For instance, when I've been placed in committees to represent the Commissioner of Police, and I'm not privy to certain information, but I still have to make a good representation of the organization. So I utilize Toastmaster skills again. I don't speak on the question that is asked. I speak around the question, and if the person persists in an answer, then I said, if the answer is not sufficient or adequate at this point in time, I'm sure that after this meeting we will be able to have a more deeper dialogue. That is the trick to it, Toastmaster Regis. That is the trick. Speak around it, and then you can always come back on track after you gather or you conjure your thoughts on it. But don't ever give an answer that you are not sure about. Don't appear to be that person who needs to know everything.
Everything.
Go and research it, come back, and give a proper answer.
I agree with that. And even in, let me say, my personal life, let me say in public office roles or contesting, I had similar advice that, some people would feel like, yeah, a minister or parliamentarian has to have the answer for everything, but
Yeah.
you don't have to. You could, just like you say, approach it. If someone poses a question that you don't have the answer to right there, you could tell them, okay, well, allow me some time to research that
Yeah.
and come back to you with a better answer. 'Cause I don't have a full understanding of that topic at the moment.
Yeah.
It's all about your approach. But I agree
Yes,
with you on
exactly.
that point. I agree with you on that point for sure. And I just want to show some kudos you have in the chat. So TM Rod,
Oh,
who asked the question about the shaking in the
yes.
Toastmaster, this is his response. Very inspiring. Shaking is like a water that evaporates. Nice analogy. And TM Rod is from the Philippines. So welcome, TM Rod, hailing
Welcome.
all the way from the Philippines. I actually had classmates in my class from the Philippines. That's cool. We're all over the world.
Oh,
District
yes.
81 is all over the world.
That's
Last
right.
week we
We
had an
global. We
interview
global. We
from
global.
Malaysia. Now we have members from Philippines joining us. That's love. And we have DTM Sandra, who said, I am forever grateful to you for your training and
Oh,
assistance in
oh. Thank
enabling
you,
Division
Toastmaster
F to
Sandra.
participate in Debate Master Tour. DTM Fraser, you were excellent.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sandra.
And I want to show this next question from our Didi
Mhm.
Tashi. Can you share an example of a time someone commended you for something and it was clearly as a result of being a Toastmaster?
Yeah, that's a nice question, Toastmaster Tashi. And I'll answer it this way. I was vying for the position of the head of the Law Society at the University of Guyana, the UGLS. And the way and how we do it is like the same town hall meetings where students raise concern about their education and their environment. And at that point in time, I had the Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Carl Singh, OR, CCH, and he was the moderator. So who knows Justice Singh, his impeccable style of language and the art of speaking, being in his presence is one thing, but to answer questions while he's standing there looking at you is another. And when the students asked those questions, I started to get cold palms. Like literally my hands were sweaty and cold. And I say to myself, but Delon, what is this? You're a Toastmaster. Conjure yourself, pull yourself together. I stood up in that meeting and you could not believe it. I don't know what thoughts came to my mind and I spoke about. But Didi, I spoke on exactly what was affecting me as a student and how I will deal with the issue if I am elected as the University of Ghana Law Society president. And by the time I was finished that fateful evening with having been riddled with about 20 to 50 questions from law students, there was no deniability that I was made for this, and it was all because of Toastmasters. Being able to listen to the question and being able to answer the question being asked and not giving no fluff, but using facts and pulling it all together while being in that speaking area with one of the persons you look up to looking at you dead in your eyes to make sure that you answer the question right with him. But that was an experience and a half. I felt as if I was a convict in the courtroom having to be riddled by some of my very colleagues. But because of Toastmasters, I was able to stand up there and pull myself together in a jiffy and answer the questions confidently, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And there are
That's
many more
great.
experiences too in the court, but that's the one that I want to share with you.
That's great. That's great. And that's powerful. Thank you for sharing that story with us. And I find that's a great answer to that question. And
Yeah.
we have another question in the chat again from DTM Michelle. DTM Delon, what Toastmaster skills was the most challenging, for lack of a better word, for you to develop?
My listening skills. My listening skills. As I've mentioned earlier, what used to happen because I had an attitude that I was a debater, again, I saw myself as this great king, and you all are my royal subjects. I didn't have to listen to what you all saying. What you all had to do is to sit there and listen to me. So one of the skills I had to develop and develop pretty fast, because you have proteges who are looking up to you. You have persons who you're evaluating in the club. At one point in time, you would have to pay keen attention to what they're saying in order to give constructive feedback. So one of my hardest thing I had to really put myself back and control was the skill of listening. Very important. And the rightful adage is a good listener is a good learner. So that's what we say here in Guyana. So we learn by listening, paying
Mhm.
keen attention to what the speaker is saying. And so you can either learn from what they're saying and give constructive feedback. That, my friend, was one of the skills I had to develop. And that was challenging.
I like how you answer that one time with conviction, like
Yes,
listening. But I totally understand where you're coming from. And yes, I would say even in debate, you have to be a good
mm-hmm.
listener because
Yeah,
you have to listen to the other person's side to know how you're going to rebut. But
absolutely.
I understand where you're coming from because now, from a standpoint of my opinion is gospel, you
Exactly.
would have
I
to
don't need to listen to them.
exactly. So I understand why you said that and why it would have been, but it's great and it's a powerful thing that you were able to develop that because, like we said, in leadership,
Yep.
in any leadership role, listening is a crucial aspect because let's say you'll have your team that you would have to deal with. So you'll need to listen to them. Or let's say, like you said, in the community, when you're doing community outreach or different things of that nature, you'll have to listen to the community members. So it is an
Exactly.
important thing. So, like I said, it's great that you had knowledge of self that you could have said with so much conviction, like, yeah, this is what I had to work on. And it's also great that you were able to develop that skill that now you could see how you did develop it and how it has been beneficial in your life already. So that was actually one of my questions too, like, some things that you see, outside of the club, highlight some success stories and things like that. But I'll just move on to this question and ask you, if you could sum up in one sentence how Toastmasters has changed your life beyond the club, what would it be?
Toastmasters has transformed my voice from a tool of authority into an instrument of influence, helping me to lead, serve, and inspire with authenticity and purpose. One sentence.
Well said. Well said. Well said. From a tool of authority
Mhm.
to, let's just say, inspiration. And I feel like in your role, especially, that's a great
Yeah.
transition and that's a great move. And I'll ask you, what's your final message that you would like to share to members or non-members alike about carrying their Toastmaster skills into the world? So even for non-members who maybe have not joined watching this, give them a message that they could see how these skills could help them outside of Toastmasters.
Thank you so much. To those Toastmasters out there, my first message is to you. Never doubt who you are as a Toastmaster. Every role you play in your club and outside of your club is preparing you for something greater. Carry your confidence, your clarity, and your compassion into your careers and your communities. Because truly, Toastmasters, there is more in you than you've yet to discover. So stay the course and continue to be that great and excellent leader and orator that you are. For those who are listening to us and has not yet been convinced to be part of Toastmaster, my message is, what are you waiting for? Hurry and join this bandwagon. You have more to gain, more to experience being a Toastmaster. If you thought that it wasn't something good, ask me the question, why do I still stick around even after 10 years? Or rather, over 10 years. It must be something good. So I encourage you to join a club near you. Hurry and sign up and begin working those manuals and pathways. The experience is one of a lifetime. You will never ever find it anywhere else. Toastmasters, where leaders are made.
Man, and I love that call to action. Ah, that's great. That's great. That's great. Whoa, another question. But I just want to show we have DTM Milushka sharing
Yeah.
your line, which, yeah, I love that one too. I love that one
Yeah.
too. And even Didi Tashli too, what a powerful statement, from
Yeah.
a tool of authority to a tool of influence. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yes, yes, yes. So this, let me verify, is a question.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a question. Start with how do
Yeah. How do you
how do
to
you promote Toastmasters to new recruits? And may I say, those who may say the same initial "you need to listen to me" attitude? That's a good question.
Oh,
That's a good
fair
question.
enough. You, Toastmaster Michelle, using your own life experiences, using your own life experiences. And I'll tell you, every single speech, you become it when you deliver it at your club or at any single forum. I've had a lot of persons approach me, even when I am judging the youth parliament debates here in Guyana, and even some international debates as well. Persons would always ask the same question: how are you able to come up with all these tidbits to help persons to debate and communicate, because of course you have to evaluate them and give them a score. And I said, all you need to do is to join Toastmasters. Being part of Toastmasters has also helped me to be humble, to know that I really don't know a lot of things. Like I've mentioned, my very first meeting, I've had a very good debating uh, profile. But then when I got to the very first meeting, it was never about what I said, but it's how I dress. It's about how well I'm able to listen to others. It's about how well I am able to humble myself and not think that not all in all circumstances you need to be this great big king and everyone has to be a royal subject. You need to implore some level of empathy, and you need to implore some level of patience, because sometimes you tend to get ahead of yourself, and it's only when you've reached in a position then you realize, no, that is not how it works. You come right back to your Toastmasters training, and it will tell you how you need to operate as a speaker and as a leader. So, for those of you who are still wondering how you have I got, you need to listen to me attitude, simple. Just humble yourself, follow the right path, listen with empathy, and listen to the person's message that they're leaving with you, and so that you can understand and share in it, and not always put your ideas or your main attitude to the front. You tend to miss crucial information when you do so. So again, join Toastmasters. Let us do speaking workshop to help promote Toastmasters, to help persons understand this as well. It's not all about the shouting and you need to listen to me attitude. Sometimes it's about grace, poise, and being able to present in such a manner. Toastmasters are giving us all the tools. We just need to use it.
Love that. Move with grace and charisma. Hmm. I agree. I agree. And well said. I hope that answers your question, TM Michelle. And on that note, I'll leave that as the final question, which rightfully I wanted your great call to action that you just delivered previously to be the final, because that's a great close, but that's great too. And that was a powerful statement you just made. Honestly, how I see it, you gave the call to action, you gave some great statements. This episode, like Toastmasters, you could like cut out clips out of this episode and share it and be like, look, inspiration. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Inspiration. Look, well said. Well said, DTM Delon.
Thank you,
We
DTM
have
Lisa.
we have DTM Melushka said, thank you for sharing your
Thank
insights
you.
with us. We have TM Rod from the Philippines. See you. Bye bye, TM
Bye,
Rod.
Rod. So
And
nice to
thank you
have
for
you
joining
again.
us. Yes, yes. And you're welcome for the
Yeah.
insights. As he said, yes, I agree. We need to be humble.
Be
And then we have DTM Christina said, powerful, powerful response. And yes, thank you. That I appreciate this feedback. Yes, we come with good stuff for you every time. So on that note, this brings us to the end of this episode, at least the question session. And I want to tell everyone thank you. And like I say, if you enjoy anything that was said, go back and check out this episode. Great stuff, great info. Share it,
Yeah.
clip it, share it with somebody who you know need to hear it, especially that part where DTM Delan spoke about to non Toastmasters members. I think that's like a great Toastmasters ad. Like,
Yes. A good pitch.
I tell you, like, ad campaign. Okay, good. Yes, yes, yes. So look, DTM Sandra said so many
De
nuggets.
nada. De nada.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you as well for joining us. And DTM Tashi said, TM Oliver, I can see you are using this podcast skill outside Toastmasters with your very own podcast. Yes, I am. So at least, at least we could say for sure, even on my end, skills beyond the
Reciprocity.
club. Yes, skills
Reciprocity.
beyond the club. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, tonight's session was
Oh.
excellent. Loved it. Very
Uh-huh.
informative. And I totally agree. So, like I said, thank you. The goal is to inspire, educate, and provide value to members and non members alike by highlighting key Toastmasters themes, leadership, insight, and skill development. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed this interview. As I said, we will be here every week for the month of October with some great topics. Catch me here next week with the District Trio interview. Okay. Yes, sir. You wouldn't want to miss it. You wouldn't want to miss it. I am telling you. But yeah, catch me here next week for another great episode with another great guests as we touch on another great topic. So thank you for joining once again. I do hope you all have a, a great evening. Look, we have DTM Christina says,
Ah.
please bring back DTM Delon soon. Maybe I should bring you on my personal podcast. Then everybody could come watch you there. Don't worry, on my podcast, we have more time. Yes, yes. Look, woot woot. District Trio interview next
Yes, can't
week.
wait for
Yes,
that one.
yes, yes. Trust me. Me too. Me too. We doing
You
things.
missed the
District
this.
81 is doing things. If
Yes.
anyone thought not, they are corrected now.
Yes.
Good. So you guys have a great one. Catch us here again next week with another great episode. And have a blessed week ahead. See you guys. Stay blessed.
Good evening, everyone.